Hello YouTube universe and welcome to a brand new episode of the United City Randomiser here on my channel, the United City FM. If you've joined me before, then the next part of the United City Randomiser is only moments away. If this is your first time joining me, then maybe you should search out the first episode in the series, as it will give you all the information you need to know exactly what is going on and what this series is all about. Whether you're a first-time viewer or already part of the United City, having pressed the subscribe button, you are most welcome here. But as promised, the time is now for the next part of our journey together, so let's get going. Welcome to episode 13 of United City Randomiser. You can see that in episode 13 we currently sit in 13th. That's synergy for you, and it's pretty much where we've been most of the season. We started with a win, but then after that dropped a little bit, and this is where we found where we kind of are at the moment in terms of our ability compared to everybody else. But the positive, as I've said a number of times this season, is that we were predicted 17th and to get relegated, and that doesn't look likely at this point. You can see that we're well clear of relegation, and we're almost not far off the magic number of 35 points, which everybody suggests that for the Bundesliga will get you safety and will keep you up. So we're not far off that. We've still got 10 games to go, so plenty of time to get that points total, and I hope that that will come soon, just to really settle us and make it so all the players know that we've got safety and they can relax and perform well. In the last couple of games, it's not been brilliant. Since we played against Wolfsburg and Eintracht Frankfurt, we've had 2 losses against Werder Bremen and Borussia Mönchengladbach. But we did beat Freiburg, who are one of the lower teams in the league this season. That was comfortable. The Werder Bremen game, was really dominated by them. We didn't stand a chance and never got going at all. This particular game against Mönchengladbach, if we click into the details, you can see we were unlucky. They're a decent side. They're going well in the league. And we were 1-1 and then lost a 92nd minute goal to lose the game. And that was really disappointing. Unfortunately for us, today we've got 2 of the really big boys. We have the mighty Bayern Munich, who are currently sitting in 4th. They haven't been as dominant this season as you might have expected, considering they've won about the last 8 in a row of the Bundesliga titles. But they're sitting in 4th, but they are moving up quite rapidly, and it may well be that in the end they end up at the top anyway. But we've got Hertha Berlin also as well, and they're currently sitting in 2nd place. So you can see it's a really difficult double header. After this game, we'll come back and play a couple of matches in here, and then we'll finish off the season with Borussia Dortmund and Hoffenheim. So a couple more episodes to come in this season as we try and definitely get avoid relegation. My mind doesn't work sometimes. But yeah, so that's where we're at. There's a few transfer dealings for next season that I'm working on that I will talk to you about next episode. But for now, we've got Bayern and we've got Hertha. So let's get into the first game. So here you can see the 2 formations and the 2 teams. You can see that most of the big boys for Bayern are playing. James Rodriguez, Lewandowski, Neuer. They've got De Ligt and Sul. Very good young central defensive partnership. The one player that's missing, I'm not sure whether he's on the bench or not. Is he on the bench? Is Muller. Yes, he's on the bench for some reason. I guess he's being challenged by a couple of younger players on the wide positions, but Muller's out onto the bench, which means that potentially later on he could come on and cause all sorts of problems in the last bit of the game. For us, it's the usual first team choice now, really, just because why wouldn't you against the big boys in the league? So we've got Greitbust in goal, we've got Kreuzer at right back, Heiss at left back, Turu in goal in the centre of defence, Silva as the holding midfield player, Burnich as the creative midfield player, Marin, who hasn't really started his United City career particularly well, but he's doing all right. He's our new Metzala, Bertram on the left, Roberts on the right, and Barbosa up front. So, yeah, those are the 2 sides playing a similar formation. Tactically, obviously, we play it differently. I'm going to not put any pressure on them. We're not expected to do a lot today, so I'm just going to leave that one to my assistant to let them go out there with clear minds. It motivated a couple, but that's fine. We'll just go and see how we get on against the mighty Bayern Munich. So they kick off, and let's just hope that they don't dominate us a bit like one of our recent games with Werder Bremen, I think it was, who just wiped us off the pitch completely 3-0. Their corner kick comes in, decent enough first header, but complete confusion as the ball comes in again, and Bayern Munich have got an early goal. Not really what we wanted at all. It was a semi-decent original clearance header, but it went straight to them and they got it back in the box again, and then it was lots of chaos, and nobody had the ability to just boot the ball away, which was disappointing. But there we go. We lost an early goal. Can we keep the ball a little bit, try and get ourselves into the game, and not lose another one too early, so we can, at least hold on to some hope that we can compete with them. The ball moves forward. Marin with the ball, but unfortunately didn't quite get through. Are they going to counter-attack? Tiru picks up the loose ball at the back, passes back to Greitbust, and he maintains possession, kicks long, but goes straight to Alaba and Memphis on their left-hand side, and they come back with the ball at us. Long sweeping ball round to their right-hand side, and oh dear, Lewandowski didn't seem to have to put anything on that particularly. It sort of almost poked it home, and it dribbled past our goalkeeper seemingly. Let's have a look at the replay here. You can see a good sweeping ball out to the right, and it was an all-right cross, but the defender kind of looked like he might have got a touch on the ball as well as Lewandowski to slow the ball down, and it just dribbled into our net. Very disappointing that we weren't able to block that shot, or at least get the goalkeeper anywhere near it at that pace. But this is the mighty Bayern Munich. As I say, they started the season poorly. When we played them earlier in the season, they were in about 9th, which was surprising, but they are moving up quite rapidly now. And another corner for them, and another goal for them. De Ligt with the header. Oh, this is going to get embarrassing, isn't it? I'm going to have to potentially change some stuff here. Oh, dear. Yeah, again, on the corner kick, marking wasn't good enough. I have set corners up to mark tightly on tall players and all sorts of other bits and pieces, but when you get the quality of player that they have, sometimes they just find the spaces, unfortunately. And so far, we're not in the game. We've got some possession, but no shots. Nothing exciting from our point of view. But here's our first look at a corner. Out to Marin on the edge of the box. Decent shot. Was it tipped over, or was it hit the crossbar? I couldn't quite tell. It must have been tipped over. Another corner. So another corner comes in. Again, back to our position at the edge of the box for Marin. He has a shot, but it's blocked. I have at the moment been looking at the long shot from the edge of the area, because we do have some success from our long shooting, but on that particular occasion, obviously you could see that it didn't quite work out. But here's a throw-in on our left-hand side, cleared well. Lewandowski comes away with the ball. We've got plenty of numbers back and get a really decent tackle in by Silva, but unfortunately then boots the ball too far long, and none of our forward players can get onto it. But at least there was some good defensive work there. But again, they come back with the ball and are passing it around nicely in the centre of their midfield. And there the ball goes long again for Lewandowski. He cuts it in, it gets a deflection, goes straight to Kahn on the edge of the box, and he boots it into the goal. Unfortunately, that definitely picked up a defensive deflection to put it in his path then. Otherwise, I'm not sure he would have made the ball. But yeah, they're just finding too much space. Look at that space that he had on the edge of the area. Where was sort of Silva holding his defensive midfield position? I think he got drawn to the ball a little bit. But again, very disappointing. But I can't say I'm totally surprised. We haven't another shot comes in off the bar, it looked like, and then away for a corner. We haven't been dominated in too many games this season, but this looks like to be the worst one of the lot. And the ball goes flying over the top for a defensive header, so that's another corner to them. James out on the other side now, curls it all the way to Lewandowski at the back, but we eventually get it cleared. So again, they dominated possession and they pushed us, but on that particular occasion, we managed to hold out. Yeah, as I say, we haven't been dominated in too many games, so if we are in this particular one, what were we... Oh dear. We really are, aren't we? The goalkeeper seemed to drift out towards the edge of his 6-yard box just as the ball came in the opposite direction. Then it seems you watch his movement as the ball comes in. He comes, oh yeah, he got done by the movement, by the header of James Rodriguez. But yeah, this is slightly embarrassing now. At half-time, I'm going to have to change a few things, I think, and come back out with a slightly more solid formation, maybe, to counter what their formation and tactic is. So I will sort that out. I've done quite a bit of changing for tactical purposes in the second half, trying to make us more solid, different style of play in terms of pressing, etc., and how we do that and how we move the ball around, all sorts of different aspects. It would be too long for me to go through everything, but there was quite a few changes that I made there. And I also bought Bertram, who's playing on wide left originally up on the attacking midfield line. I bought him back slightly to create a bit more bodies in midfield. Nobody will be quite as free roaming as they were potentially. And yes, we'll just see whether we can really try and hold our ground a little bit more and not get dominated so much in the second half. It becomes a game of two halves, doesn't it? We got roundly beaten in the first half. Can we hold our shape and do a bit better in the second half? And, you know, not get dominated so much. So I've told them in very no uncertain terms that the performance was really disappointing. We need to see a better showing in the second half. I was very in their face about that. Not because I expect us to beat Bayern in any way, but I expect us to compete better than we did. So that fired everybody up and motivated them. So let's go and see if we can make a bit of a difference in the second half. As I say, all I'm looking for is just a bit more of a competition between the two sides. If we can hold our own a little bit more, get a little bit more of the ball possession and have a couple of shots, which we managed to do a little bit at the end of the first half, then I'll be happy enough with the second half performance, although we can never take away of how disappointing that first half was. But occasionally one of these mighty European big sides show up, and when they do, there's at this point in our save, there's not so much we can do about it. We don't quite have the talent to match up to them. We have to find other ways of competing. It's their free kick and not far wide. It was a decent free kick, but the header went slightly wide and we gained a goal kick from that. So at least if they want to miss a couple of opportunities, I'll happily take that as well. If they're not quite as clinical, that's fine by me. We're up to 70 minutes. We're going to change some personnel and get some fresh legs on there. See, Barbosa's still having a poor one. Got a couple of yellow cards to think about. Everybody's fit, which is positive. You know, at this sort of stage of the game, that's sort of the conditioning you would expect. So we'll take our... No, we won't. What we're going to do, let's think about this. We will change the front man and get Mateta on, so hopefully he can use his pace to worry them a little bit more. I don't really have a particular replacement for Heiss on the bench today. We do for Tiru, so he can come off so he doesn't pick up anything else. And then we're going to change one of our wide men just because they're not really contributing much to the game. And I'm going to take off Roberts and put Darday on and see whether he can impact the game in any way in the last sort of 15-20 minutes of it. Thomas Muller, there you go. I suggested he'd come on and cause us problems. You wait, you watch what he does now. He'll probably get a hat-trick or something random in the last 10 minutes of the game. But that's the type of squad that they've got, and they've got a couple of interesting sort of periphery players that are unhappy in their squad that I've checked out and put on my scouting list just to see if any of them become available. I might be able to sneak in with a loan or something. But there you go. That was a decent ball through. Took Mateta a little bit too wide to have a really decent shot, but he got a corner from it. So Bertram with the corner comes in, cleared by Bayern Munich into Kimmich, and he goes long, but Heiss picks up the loose ball. I thought for a minute they might counter on us, but they didn't. But, you know, we had a moment of a decent enough ball over the top. It was just a shame it was a little bit wide for Mateta to get a decent shot away. Here they come with the ball, but we nick it from them. Back to Silva, who goes out wide to Darday. Burnich, back to Darday again. They're playing keep ball between the two of them. Kruse joins in the play on the right-hand side. Can he get a cross in? He can. Mateta, but puts it high and wide, unfortunately. Not too far wide, but looked quite high. And that's, again, a bit of the quality gap when you get those opportunities against teams like Bayern, you have to find a way to at least make the goalkeeper work. On that occasion, we didn't, and back they come. But on what happened there, we picked up a foul in the middle of the pitch, and Burnich got a talking to by the ref for the foul. So here comes the free kick onto the edge of the area. Are they going to get a shooting opportunity? No, it's all over. That was the end highlight. So what can I tell you? That's what happens when you play against Bayern Munich. But we achieved what we wanted to in the second half, in the sense that we didn't get roundly destroyed again. We just had all the damage done to us in the first half. So, yeah, I'm going to suggest that I'm not happy by that, which they should all be pretty motivated by. I'm a bit concerned that not all of them thought that that was a good thing to say, but there we are. And that's the end of the first game. Unfortunately, it doesn't get easier. We now move a couple of positions in the league ahead of Bayern Munich, and we play Hertha Berlin in the next game. Wish us luck. I'll see you in a sec. So here we go for the second game of this particular episode against Hertha Berlin, who have dropped a place because Bayern overtook them, having annihilated us in the previous game. All I'm looking for today is I'm going to give the same group of players pretty much another opportunity to show that they're better than what they've just shown. The only difference is that I've had to bring Palmer Brown in because Tiru has picked up too many yellow cards and therefore is suspended for this particular game. I could have taken them all out and changed a load of players and brought new players in to see if they could perform any better, but the simple reality is half of those players aren't as good, and I really want to challenge this group of players to see if they can actually pull out a decent performance after such a bad one in the last game. So let's move through and see what happens. So I've challenged them and said I fully expect you to end our poor run of form. I'm not sure I do totally, to be honest. You know, Hertha Berlin are still like in third place or whatever, but you've got to really push sometimes against your players and see whether you can get a decent performance out of them through that. Other than that, the only other thing to say was Hertha Berlin are playing a slightly different formation. They're playing the 4-2-3-1. So maybe that will change in terms how we perform and where the spaces are in this particular match. Let's find out. As we had the kickoff, and in the early parts of the game, we'll see whether we can get a highlight in our favour on this particular match. Our first highlight then comes on right down our left-hand side in our defensive area on a throw-in, but we've brought it forward to Bertram, who gets it up to Barbosa, who runs at the defence a bit and takes a fairly long shot, possibly a little bit too long, and it was comfortable for the goalkeeper. But at least we had a highlight in our favour. At least we showed the initiative of trying to get on the ball and move the ball quickly forward. And obviously Barbosa had the opportunity and didn't quite manage to take it, but positive signs. In terms of his personal performance, I would have liked a few more goals from him this season, but I would suggest that he's done okay. I think he's got about 9 or 10 in sort of 20 matches or something, so it's one every other game, not too bad. Definite improvement on last season and the dreadful strikers we had then, but I would still expect a little bit more from him. Part of the big problem that we've had is Mateta as an option, as a backup, really hasn't got the goals. He's on like about a 7-match game run without a goal now or something like that. And Eric Ayer is still young and finding his feet as the third choice striker, really. So that's still a bit of an issue. The other thing to say about moving forward in terms of transfers for next season, if we stay in this division, which looks likely that we will, is of course we've got the German quota of like 12 players in our 25-man squad that have to be German, and so we are a little bit restricted in some of what we can do. I think we've got about 14 at the moment, so I can't let that drop too much because otherwise we'll not have the amount that we need. So that might sort of challenge us a little bit in terms of how we do our transfer dealings in the summer. But that's the end of the first half. You can see not a lot happened. Both teams had some shots on goal, some on target a bit. Possession was fairly even, but it was fairly highlight free. So let's go and figure out the halftime team talk. He thinks we need to seek revenge on what happened to us last time. I'm not so bothered about that particularly passionately. What are our options? We're the better team. Just keep doing what you're doing and we'll be fine. Yep, hopefully that will help them out. We will tell them there's more to come from them in the individual sections of the team, just to get even more motivation out of them. Hopefully we'll get like the statement of they're now willing to run through brick walls for you, or whatever it sometimes says. There you go. The players look really ready to walk through walls. Brilliant. Well, I don't need them to do that. I just need them to get the ball and put it in the goal. I think that sounds easier to do, so let's see if they can manage it. Obviously, Berlin have the kickoff on that particular half, having the highlight end. We go to their highlight on a corner, and there we go. They're willing to walk through brick walls, but they're not willing to clear the ball from a corner kick, apparently. So the corner comes in to the far post, and there was just a header on the far post. They doubled up on the man there, and goalkeeper was nowhere to be seen, really. It went into the top corner on the far post. Disappointing on our set pieces and how we mark, but we're not the tallest team. We're not the best heading team, to be honest. It's one of the aspects that's a problem. Another corner comes in, cleared to the edge of the box, but they retain possession, get a decent shot in that comes off the crossbar, and eventually we clear it out for a throw-in for Hertha Berlin. And yeah, it was not too bad. That was a decent header. And here the long shot came in and hit off the bar. Fortunately, we managed to get a foot in at that point to take it out from under the feet of the striker. But again, they're now upping their shot count. The possession remains about the same. Here's our goal kick. Goes long. Defender picks it up, puts it back in, but we pick up the loose ball. Barbosa on the turn with the ball, out to Bertram on the left. Cross comes in, far post to Roberts, gets a shot in. Goalkeeper gets a hand on it, and they clear the ball. But it was good movement. It was a decent ball out to Bertram at that point, who can take it to a point where he crosses, possibly a little bit deep. It sent Roberts sort of slightly further away from the goal, unfortunately. Decent shot in, but eventually not quite the result we were looking for. So we're coming up on the 65-minute-ish mark, which is when I like to try and change it up a little bit and see what options we've got from the bench, just to freshen the play up, see who's playing well, who's not. Again, you see, we've rotated this side in a lot of games through the season for some of the squad players to come and get games. So, you know, they're looking all right in terms of condition. So it just becomes about who's playing well. Palmer Brown isn't playing particularly well and has got a yellow card. We've got Sears Leben on the bench, so we'll think about that. We've also got a furious Burnich. He's going to come off, I think. We'll put Gomez in that ball-playing role. I don't like people being furious. That's not a good place for us to be. Roberts, again, is nervy, so we'll take him off. And I'm going to chance leaving Palmer Brown there just to see if we can get Mateta on and get a goal. It was stated in the press this week that, you know, he's looking to end his goal drought and all that kind of stuff. After statements like that, hopefully a game or so afterwards, he does just that. So hopefully it's this particular game. Bit of pace up front, ball over the top. Hopefully he can find the net eventually. So we'll give him the chance. So that's obviously made a huge difference in terms of how we're playing, because all the highlights that have flooded in since then, or not, as the case may be. But, you know, this is against a team third in the division again. So I'm not quite sure what more we could expect, really. We've matched them fairly well in terms of shots, etc. Our possession has been a bit lower than theirs all the way through the game. But, you know, it would suggest that we've done okay, that we've competed with them in a much better way than we did against Bayern Munich. But it looks like on this particular occasion we're going to succumb to a 1-0 defeat. One last opportunity, maybe? No. Darday got caught offside on that particular occasion. And I suspect this will be the end of game highlight. And there it is. So, unfortunately, that puts us on about a 3-game losing streak, which is really disappointing at this point in the season. But they were all against really, really hard top of the league opposition. So, I can't say I'm too surprised, really. We're going to tell them that we're disappointed in them. That's motivated them. We'll go and check out what that does to our league position. See, this is the great thing. We basically stayed where we are, and we haven't lost any ground on the people above us because they're having similar results at this point. we're still 10 points clear of relegation, which is a positive. Hopefully we've got a couple of easier games coming up in the next couple of games. What have we got coming up? So Schalke, who are in 10th, Hamburg are in 14th, Bayer Leverkusen in 1st. We'll come back for that game, I think, and probably play that and maybe the Hanover game. See if we can get a win on the live videos against Hanover. But we'll play the Bayer Leverkusen game. So I'll see you in a couple of matches and see what changes have been made in terms of our position by then. Bye for now. Thanks very much for watching this episode of the United City Randomiser save. If you enjoyed the video, then why not click on the like button, as that would really help me. If you think you know anyone who would really enjoy my Football Manager content, then feel free to share this with them. But most importantly, if you would like to join my United City here on YouTube, then hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with my video releases. If you have anything you want to say about the United City save or the channel itself, then feel free to leave a comment below, but please try and be nice with each other. That'll do for today, so until next time, stay happy and healthy, and I will see you soon.